Hey up everyone, Magpie Gaming here. I hope you're all doing well. So the rush mode within Battlefield 2042 has been extended for another week by community demand. A lot of players want this mode to become a permanent mode within the game, and I really don't see why it can't be a permanent mode within the game. Also, though, they have brought out 64 player maps for the breakthrough mode within the game, so that's giving us slightly smaller maps. I think obviously less vehicles, and sort of scratches that itch for people that want the kind of smaller player experience on the PC rather than the 128 all-out warfare sort of experience within the game. So, but again, a time-limited mode, which is really annoying, and I think they did this in Battlefield 1, I'm not too sure. I know they did it in Battlefield 5 where certain modes were made time-limited, and it really doesn't sit well with me at the moment. Well, it never has, to be fair. Can't understand why they do it. At the end of the day, you pay all that money for a game, and then you're told when you can and can't play certain parts of it. It doesn't make sense. Now, I know that we pay for the base game and what comes with that, which is this sort of all-out warfare and Portal and Hazard Zone, and then anything else that's added is kind of a bonus. But to put them in for a certain length of time and then take them out, especially when they're very much popular, popular modes like Rush, I can't understand why they want to take them out and then put them back in at random points. It just doesn't really doesn't make sense to me. And this all comes on the top of dwindling player numbers for Battlefield, and it's a worrying trend. When you look at the Steam metrics at the moment, it's just going down and down and down. Now, at the time of me making this video, I'll put up on screen a little screen capture of the Steam charts. There's just short of 17,000 people playing the game. There was an all-time peak of 100,000, and the 24-hour peak was 17,500. Now, that's not indicative of the entire player base. Of course, there are those people that signed up on EA Origin on the PC and are playing it on there, and then of course you've got the people that are playing it on the consoles. So the player base overall is quite fragmented, but overall there's probably quite a few people out there playing it. But if you go by the Steam metrics, that is dwindling off. Now, I don't think it's time to panic for sort of EA on this one, although they deserve to panic with the way they've done this game. But obviously, you've got the holiday period coming up. A lot of people will get this game for the holiday period. A lot of people will be giving it as a present. A lot of people will take the plunge and buy it if they're given money and things like that. Or they've got some time off work and think, you know what, I'm going to give the game a go. So I would expect the player base to sort of rise quite dramatically over the holiday period. And you have to give bonus points to DICE with the free updates that they've managed to push out in the last couple of weeks. It's definitely changed the game for the better, but it's not saving the game by any means at the moment. Recently, some news came out from Tom Henderson, who is a prolific leaker of Battlefield news, and to be fair to him, when he was leaking news about 2042 before it released, nearly everything that he leaked was spot on about the game. So he leaked some information, I think it was around the beginning of last week, which said that the overall development time for this game was 15 months. Before that, they were solely developing Battlefield as a battle royale game, and at some point they decided that this wasn't the route they wanted to go down. They wanted to go back to the classic Battlefield. Now, can you imagine if the next Battlefield game they released was just battle royale only? There would have been a lot of pissed off people out there. It's a tried and tested formula. People want those kind of game modes, Rush, Conquest, etc. They don't want just a battle royale mode only. So at some point they changed their mind, decided to go back to classic Battlefield. And there's two ways to look at this. You can think, right, they had 15 months to create what they've created. They haven't done bad. To give us what they've given us within the 15-month time period wasn't bad at all. We got 7 huge maps. We got maybe not as many weapons as we wanted, but we got 22 weapons to start with. But to do what they did in 15 months was quite an achievement. But then you can look at it from the other side of the coin and think, you know what, you can tell they only had 15 months to create this because it's buggy as hell. There should have been more content in it, etc. So yeah, there's two ways that you can look at it, but I can definitely believe that they only had 15 months to develop this game. It needed another 6 to 8 months of polish before it was due a release. They pushed it out way too early, but DICE have taken a lot of the flack for that, and that's the wrong people to aim it at. These devs believe in the Battlefield franchise. A lot of them will have been there since the early days when EA were never involved. So these decisions to push this game out when they did will have solely been taken by EA, and I would think that a lot of the devs at DICE would have have been against releasing so early because they knew that the game wasn't finished. They will have also known that once it was released, they would have had to have done crunch time to get these patches out. But yeah, aim that flak at EA and not DICE, definitely. But like I say, I don't think they should worry too much at the moment. Yes, player numbers are dwindling off, but that will come back over the holiday period. And then we've got the first season, which is due out early next year. We're also going to be getting some more time limited modes. I think we're going to be getting 64 player time limited in All Out Warfare. We're also going to be getting a new map, and I would assume that we'll maybe get a couple more weapons as well, because the 22 weapons that we've got in the game right now are becoming a little bit stale for a lot of people. You know, they've been grinding the game and the rewards for grinding it just aren't there really. Yes, there's the unlock for the weapons, but once you've done so many of the weapons, it can get a little bit boring. So people want a little bit more variety putting in there. And again, with the maps are, I don't know, you can tell what they've done with these maps to make sure that you get 128 players on and that it's distributed quite well. They've basically just took 64 player maps and stretched them out. So the issue that you have there is that it can be a long old walk to get to an objective if you're on foot and you can't, you know, bung a ride off a vehicle or drop your own vehicle onto the battlefield. It's quite a long way to go. And this is one of the reasons that I have stuck with the Sundance character, because if you can get up high, you're able to wingsuit quite far on the maps, and it can help you traverse large areas of the map that otherwise you would have had to gone like on foot. So, and it can take a while. So the maps are okay. Like I say, I'm getting into them. I think the design isn't too bad. Obviously, you don't get 128 players all in one area. It does do quite a good job of distributing the players around so that it's not all sort of concentrated in one area. But they seem very bland to the maps. You know, this is set in a world where things are falling apart, governments are falling, the world is in chaos, but everywhere on the maps looks very pristine. It looks, very tidy, very clean. There's just not a lot going on these maps, and the destruction in the maps as well is quite tame compared to previous Battlefield games. You know, there is the typical destruction where you can blow out the walls and things like that, but again, there's not that many buildings to where you can actually do physical destruction too, because there's just not that much on the maps to really destroy. You know, you've got the skyscrapers that you can basically not damage at all. You know, being able to maybe bring some of them down with a large collected effort from a team would be amazing. You know, I'd love to see that, but you can't do that. It's very haphazard, and it was very, you can tell that it was put together in a short space of time. But like I say, they shouldn't panic too much right now. This is the Battlefield franchise. It will get back on its feet. It has done every other time, even with, crap launches. And I think this one will do the same as well. I think people just want to see a bit more in it. They want to see more maps. They want to see more modes. They want to see more weapons. Don't skimp and scrape on these things, DICE and EA. Give us what we want and we will play the game to our heart's content. So yeah, but yeah, those time limited modes are in there. Obviously Rush is going to vanish in a couple of days time. That's a big shame. I think the player base will dwindle even more then, because for a lot of people Rush is the only reason they're playing the game. The breakthrough 64 player might sort of scratch the itch for some people for a while, but it's not going to last forever. Of course, that's time limited. I don't know when that will be removed from the game. I'm guessing that it's maybe going to last for a couple of weeks and then it will be removed, so they should be made permanent, and I can't see why they aren't. But that is pretty much it for this video, ladies and gentlemen. Just bringing you the latest news on Battlefield 2042. If you want to continue getting news from me like this, then do hit that subscribe button. It helps me out massively. If not, then leaving a like or a comment also helps with that YouTube algorithm. So all that remains to be said is thank you very much for watching and listening. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Stay safe, and I will catch you in the next one. Take care.